Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's great to have you here. I've just come off an 11-hour session on Clubhouse where myself and the panelists have helped hundreds of people with their business questions. It was an incredible session. I'm a big fan now of that new app, and I have to say that I think it's going to bring a lot of value to the world. Now, I'm streaming on multiple channels tonight, and the aim of tonight's broadcast is we have 6 entrepreneurs coming on, and we want to listen to their stories and see how we can support them and help them. So please stay to help if you can. I will be monitoring your questions, your points, your comments, the ways that you think you can help the guests that we have on this evening. My mission at the Purposeful Project is to help 1 million people start a business of their own and make sure that anyone who starts a business does not feel alone doing it. So I hope that you guys can be a part of that mission. I think it's very important right now with so many people being made unemployed that we help people not think about the job they can't get, but create a job for themselves. In addition, there's a lot of people out there that are trying to start businesses or have existing businesses, and they just need a little bit of help from us tonight. So I'll also just mention before I bring my first entrepreneurial guest on, we just released another podcast. As you guys know, if you're listening to this channel tonight, we interview the world's most successful entrepreneurs and they share their stories. Next week we have Nick Jenkins. He was a dragon on Dragon's Den in the UK on season 13 and season 14. He sold his company Moonpig for £42 million. He has invested in all sorts of interesting startups. He tells his story about how he built that company as a sole founder and gives us insights into how he thinks about building businesses. This last podcast was Love Films founder William Reeves. He built up his company and sold it for £200 million to Amazon. He now also invests in businesses like Gray's. He was early in some pretty big businesses. So that's last week's podcast. You can grab the podcast via our website, which I've just put on screen, goodluckpod.com. Just a reminder, we now open to giving 15-minute sessions to anyone that needs it. That's part of what tonight is. We're helping people that need it. We need nothing in return. We just want to give value and help people right now. So if you have a business that you need some help with it, or you're looking to start a business and need some advice, then you can go to purposefulproject.com and sign up and get 15 minutes with me and the other entrepreneurs in our network that are all experienced business people that want to give back to. Finally, I'll just say we've created a load of videos, things like how to start a business with no money, how to raise money, how to do your marketing. And we even have a webinar coming up on the 10th of February, which is how to start and scale a business. It's all free. Everything we produce is free to try and help people right now get out of this difficult time, I guess, and find purpose in their lives. So you can go to my website, simonscript.com, and download all of that content. So whatever questions you have, hopefully we have a way of answering it. If there are any questions that we haven't answered with the content that we've created, please feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below. My team and I are monitoring the comment section this evening, so you can ask questions tonight, or if you're watching this broadcast later, you can also, of course, ask questions then. So I now want to bring on my first entrepreneurial guest, and Rebecca, welcome. How are you?
Hey, Simon, I'm really well. Thank you.
It's so good to have you here. Thank you for coming on, and I'm really interested to hear what you're up to and maybe how myself and the community listening can help you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So I'm based here in Melbourne, Australia, and we've just come out of lockdown, I suppose. And during that time gave me a lot of, obviously, time to reflect on what I want to do and how I want it to be. And I've been an entrepreneur for the last 12 years, just started as a hobby and then going through separation, etc. It now has to become a full-time income, and which I have been doing for the last couple of years. But it's just what I'm wanting to do is, so as a coach, as a business coach, for the last 4 or 5 years, I've discovered I really love marketing. I really love digital. I really love tech. So I've sort of built a bit of a toolbox around that. And where I want to go now, it sort of feels like I'm starting from scratch again, to be honest. So just wondering about the best way of doing that so that I'm not fully involved in the business and that I can bring others on. So during COVID, I did take on sort of like one client a month and help them go from whatever they were doing, 9 to 5 into the entrepreneurial space, meaning setting them up and helping them, really understand or, who their market was and that sort of thing. But how do I do that on a bigger scale, and how do I get more involved in the creative side of things?
Yeah, when you say on a bigger scale, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? So when I listen to you, and maybe I'm just getting to know you, so I could be wrong, but so you're a marketing person, right? I mean, that's with a tech appreciation, is that right?
More of a business coach,
okay,
with more of a tech marketing creative side. Yeah.
Okay, good. So, I mean, the way I had a business called Fluid, and the way I did it was I had one part of the business that was a service industry business. So we'd have a client, they would pay us, and we would do the work they paid us to do. And then I had another side, which was kind of an investment business. So people that couldn't afford, for example, our service fees, or we just loved the business and we wanted to be involved, we would take equity in that business. So we would put capital in and take equity. And part of that investment was also providing services that they might need from the business that I own. So that's another way to go. And the good thing about that model is you don't need many clients. I mean, I think under the investment service model, we probably help maybe 10 companies a year. But if you've got 10% of the company that then goes on to do amazing things, that's scale. So you don't necessarily need to scale the service business as such. Is that the sort of thing you mean? As far as
I guess that's another way of looking at it that I hadn't considered. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I like it.
What was the other way you were thinking about?
So offering design services and actually building the website for them. So there's a lot of people out there who have, next to really struggling with the tech side of things, from knowing what a URL is to understanding where you put your website and all those sorts of things. So being able to create a system, I suppose that, and this is what I was working on, creating a system, I guess an onboarding system, a way of extracting the information so that, somebody else can actually go ahead and do that creative and tech work in the background.
So would that be a partner you're thinking? Is that what you're thinking about? Is that bringing someone in to help you actually run the business?
Probably, preferably not. So I've done a few joint ventures in and out, sort of a thing, and that, I guess that suits me. But if it's something that I should perhaps look at, more using, contractors, bringing on, contractor one by one.
Yeah, I mean, again, the good and bad. The bad about that is that they don't necessarily have your culture, or your genders can sometimes not be aligned. They may want a direct relationship with the client, for example, and you might not like that. So I found that personally to be tricky. I kind of feel like the model I think works within the service business is you have your own in-house team that services the client with the outsourced partner. So a lot of the time I would have people work with me for years, and then they'd want to go and do their own businesses, and we could then work with them because they know our culture already. But it's a little bit tricky. One of the things I did do that might be useful to you as well as a bit of insight is I did bring someone in to run the company.
Okay.
And actually that freed me up. I was reading, what you'd sent us beforehand about how you have all these ideas and all that. Sometimes by bringing someone in to run the day-to-day business, let them decide what's outsourced and what's brought in-house. But maybe that gives you the freedom to then still own a part of that business and be a part of it, but then do the other ideas that you're thinking about.
Okay. Thinking about that, what you just said, I guess what I've realised in this last 12 months is that accountability. Oh my God, I need accountability. I think that can probably be said for many, many people. So, I guess that would help me in that respect, having some, because right now it's just me. So
it's a very good self-awareness, by the way, that you can say that out loud. I think a lot of people wouldn't admit that, and I think accountability is very important. And I know exactly what you mean. I do it by hiring people, by the way. Once I hire someone, I feel responsible for them, and that makes me kind of frankly work harder. And so that accountability piece, that's how I get it. So I know exactly what you mean. Do you have anybody that works for you full time?
No, not at all. If I need someone, I do have a few. I've got 3 that I can outsource to. So I've got a VA and I've got a couple of tech guys.
You've got some fans already. People saying, "I'll be your accountability partner." That's kind of a nice.
That'd be great. Yeah, even just this meeting today, Simon, I've just smashed out a lot of work in the last 10 days that we've had this organised. So that's where that awareness came from. That sort of, extra boost. Okay.
Yeah, it's transformational if you actually hire someone to help you from an accountability perspective, but also from a not being lonely perspective. It can be hard, right, on your own.
It is. It really is. I am an introvert, but during COVID, I now know I'm not a hardcore introvert. Like I still was really, craving that interaction. So we've just come out, so it's so good.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I can help you with, whether the bits of advice I've given you are enough, but is there any other area you're thinking about that you'd like to kind of bounce off me and see if I can help you?
Well, I get the other side of the equation too is that I'm really starting from I'm starting from scratch, so I don't have that massive. I don't have any cash to put into the business, and as I'm just starting, I don't have that. So you're talking about companies getting equity in companies and working for like 10 companies a year, whatever it is. So at the moment, it's just myself and an entrepreneur. So not companies as such. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't have that portfolio. I don't have those company testimonials. So how would you go about sort of going from working with the one entrepreneur by themselves to a larger business as what you were talking about?
I guess it's a combination of things, isn't it? It's I mean, having a bit of confidence and seeing there's a market opportunity for what you do. I'm sure you've got people you've helped that would be willing to give you testimonials or give you, case studies, things that you've done to help them. I think leveraging those case studies, leveraging those testimonials, and maybe like you just said, figuring out what your gaps are, writing a job description of the people you need to kind of help you scale up the business. But I really believe that you're not really self-employed till you've hired someone. It's an interesting thing. Basically, I think a business, if you build it out, if you go on holiday, it no longer exists, that business. Yeah. Right. And I think an entrepreneur wants to build something that, not always about going on holiday, but conceptually, like if you go on holiday and it doesn't exist anymore, to me, that's just like you're doing something part-time. Yeah. So if you have someone, you build out infrastructure, and it could be what you said earlier. It can be freelance. I don't want to trash that, but I think having people that are actually then able to run the business when you're not there, it also makes clients feel happier. They can't rely on one person all the time. And clients would rather give work to a team than they would an individual. Of course, there are individual consultants, which sounds like that's part of what you're doing. But I think that if you really want to have an easier life long term, you perhaps initially need to hire people and grow it a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. Thank you. There's lots to think about there. For sure.
Okay. Well, if that's enough, I just want to make sure I'm giving you what you need. I know it's only a quick chat, but is there anything else at this point you want to ask?
Look, at this point, not really. I want to think more about, what sort of businesses I can approach to sort of go from that working with that solo person to a larger company, and then also think about, actually bringing on. I think what I'm thinking about is, I guess, a business manager is bringing someone on like that.
Yeah. Whatever weaknesses, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
Or the area you don't enjoy. I mean, you mentioned earlier you think you're kind of an introvert. So is it sales and marketing you need, or what is it? Client management? Is that what you need? Is it a combination of both? I think figuring out what you don't like, and also the business needs to be scalable or sustainable. But I would also say you probably need to write up kind of a vision and mission for the business. Otherwise, growing for growing's sake or hiring for hiring's sake is not necessarily a good idea either.
Yeah. So some advice I received, which I'll just share with you, and I don't know because I haven't hired, is to hire based on values rather than skills. Yeah. What are your thoughts around that?
Good advice. I mean, my way of putting it is, manage purpose, not people.
Okay. Yeah.
So I always, this is the mission of the business. Like in my case, the mission of my platform is to help 1 million people start a business of their own and make sure no one feels alone doing it. So when I bring people on board, I want them to be passionate about that problem. And Talia, who works with me, who's moderating this tonight, she's got a lot of experience. Her partner is an entrepreneur, and she knows what it's like for him trying to make it work, and he needs help and resources, so she understands what it's like for an entrepreneur. Plus her father, who worked for a company for years and suddenly gets laid off, and she knows what it's like to work for a company for years and then have nothing at the end of it, from the company just saying goodbye. And so she likes the idea of helping people start something that they own, that they can control their destiny, and they can't get fired unless they don't want the business anymore. Or whatever. So that whole, basically hiring around people that then are aligned with your mission means that, someone like Tanya, who works very hard on this platform, she's doing it because she loves it. She's not doing it because I'm managing her or pushing her or any of those things. So it makes it a lot easier to build a business. But yeah, part of values. Values is part of it, but I think it's bigger than just values. But values are very important, but I think it's also about the mission of the business and the culture and what you're trying to achieve with this business.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. Lots to think about.
No problem. Are you guys okay there in Australia with COVID? All safe?
Look, I'm in Victoria. I'm in Melbourne, and we were locked down for those 8 months. I've turned the tally off. I've got no idea what the rest of the country are doing. I've done my dash, but I think so. Yeah. Compared to you guys, I do hear big numbers coming out of there. So I'm very, I've got family over there and family in the States as well. So
probably a good idea to turn the news off. I think that's do that more often.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you hear the news and you're like, okay, great. What can I actually do to help? There's no like end of the broadcast, and this is what you can do to help. It's like, in England anyway, it's like, and today, 1,000 people died. Well, what am I going to do with that information? It's a bit mental health issues for people. It's just horrific, isn't it? So wise move, turn off the news.
It really is. Yeah, it's probably one of the best things we did. And connect with us over Zoom or whatever it is.
Yeah, get a human connection, totally.
Yeah.
It's a very silly question, this question, but I've got a good friend who lives in Victoria, David Lynch. You don't happen to know him, do you?
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's an angel investor. He used to head up DBS Bank Innovation, and we invested in the company together. Anyway, just random, thought you might know him. Just he's also in Victoria, but it's the same. I know James in London, so
It's all good. It's all good. Thank you, Simon. Thanks for your time this morning.
Pleasure. And thanks for reaching out. How did you hear of us, out of interest?
Oh, TikTok. I follow you, I think, since you began.
Oh, thank you so much. Am I following you?
Oh, probably not. I don't do anything. I'm literally a consumer late at night.
Well, fair. Yeah. Well, thanks for reaching out, and thanks for following me on TikTok.
All right, Simon. Thank you. See ya.
See you later. Bye. Hi there.
Hello, Simon.
Hi. Lefay. Am I saying that right, Lefay?
Yeah, you got it. You got it. It's Lefay. So I'm a bit nervous, but yeah, just excuse me.
Not at all. Don't worry.
Yeah. So, oh God, where do I start? So yeah, I met you. I saw you on TikTok, and yeah, it was just the way you were talking about businesses. I've never really heard that talk. The thing about the community and stuff. So where do I begin? I'm proper nervous. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry. It's very nice. It's okay.
Yeah. So what it is basically I created a beauty brand called Bitch Beauty. So it's BII, the little star, CH Beauty. So the reason why I started the company was because I really felt like there was no beauty company out there that represented me, but also represented a lot of my friends. So I have a lot of friends who are either disabled, or they have alopecia, or they're big girls, you know, or they're trans, that type of thing. So anyway, I've started doing a magnetic eyelash company, and they're called Bitch Lashes, and it's going quite well, and I'm really, really excited. But what I wanted to ask you was, it's the thing about kind of getting the ethos of the brand across. So the actual reason why I've called it Bitch, and I know it's a bit like out there, but on the packaging you can't actually read the word bitch, but it's actually representing a beautiful, intelligent, talented, caring human. So it's the flip.
Love it.
If that makes sense, yeah. And yeah, I've had some good feedback. Well, I've had loads of really good feedback about the product itself, but it's really, I'm more into the fact of changing the beauty industry, and I know that's a massive thing to even try and do. Who am I, you know? But yeah, the where it's coming from is, I know that there needs to be a change in the beauty industry, and yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I know where I'm starting, but really, yeah, I just want to hear from you. What's your thing on it? I
love it. I love the you know, want to change the industry piece. I think there is, you know, my feeling there's some issues with the industry, but I'm interested in what you mean by change, and also you know, just one thing quickly. Have you trademarked your name?
I have bought. I've bought the what was it called? You know, the actual. Sorry. As well, I've got severe dyslexia, so please. But sometimes yeah, I bought it on like GoDaddy. I've got a website. I built all that myself, which took me bloody ages. And so no, I think trademark. I tried to trademark it, but because I hadn't been trading for so long, the gentleman told me that I couldn't, because I hadn't been like trading. Like,
that's not right.
Oh, okay, right. See, little things like that, I haven't got a clue because of like the background. It's
quite an important thing to get, because you've got a good name. Thank you. I don't want you to have to, you know, change it or have any problems later. URL is one.
I've got pen and paper.
You've got the URL. That's fine. You probably registered the company. Is it a registered company?
No, as it's literally just me. So it's just me, and I've literally, I've sold about 18. I've given out loads as well.
Doing a sole trader, right? So it's a sole trader.
Yeah.
So okay, okay, but I would just say, I mean, trademarking just in the UK, if you do it yourself, it's a couple of £100.
Yeah.
But I have seen cases where, as a business grows, and we'll talk about that in a second, you know, as the business grows, you don't want to get caught out in the ownership of the name. So you don't want to find out that someone's already got that name. So you don't want to put it now, build a company, and for the sake of...
Where do I go? Like, where do I go? I know this is...
So just type in trademarking UK and just ignore the ads, because they're trying to sell you the service, and you can just see...
I'm pretty sure that that's who I spoke to, because I wanted to trademark it, but the gentleman was like, but you're just a sole trader. Like, I don't understand. You're not even like doing anything at the moment. I don't know why you think you have to. And I just...
don't worry about it too much. It's just make a note of it, and we can talk about it in more detail later. I mean, that's one of the problems with all this advice out there. Everyone's got an opinion on everything. But I'm telling you right now, if you're trading with a brand name, with a company name, especially one like yours that I think has a lot of mileage, you just want to own it. It's an asset for the business. It doesn't cost a lot of money. And it's like buying a URL for the business. If you don't buy the website URL, it's also not smart, right? You just secure things and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. But I have seen...
That's exactly what I was thinking of, They
do well, and then someone comes along and says, oh, I own that trademark. Or they go and worse, trademark squat it. And then they come almost blackmail you for the name. So, just get that in the bag and done. Anyway,
can I just ask one question? I just want to get it right. So basically, on the actual on the website, it is and on Instagram, it's spelled BIITCH, but on the branding, it's BII, and then it's got, like, you know, the little star, so you don't actually see the T on the actual branding. Because I thought it was a little bit more appealing to the eye. It's not so much, and it actually looks really beautiful on the packaging. So do I have to trademark both?
Well, there's different types of trademarks, but you can trademark the image, the logo,
Right.
or the word, because in a way you've kind of created a word there, haven't you?
Yeah.
Two eyes. But
So
no,
was it-
I would say definitely, ideally the trademark, which is the image. So the BII, star CH.
right. So trademark that. Perfect.
Yeah, that would be definitely step one. I mean, it might be harder to trademark the word you've created there.
Yeah.
But if the business then financially works, I think you can invest in this more. But I think
Okay.
initially, say for £200, just make sure you've got that secured.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that's more like structure for the house. Let's talk about the house for a second. So
Sure.
what is the actual thing you want to change within the industry?
So what it is that I want to make a brand that is accessible to all, not just to a type. So in beauty, the one thing that that I've noticed over the years through various myself, but also just watching it, is that okay, so brands will always bring out a new product. It might be hair, could be skin, whatever it is, makeup, whatever it is. And what they will do is to promote that product, they will use a type of human. Yeah. So that will be either a larger lady, the whole thing about plus size ladies, or it could be, ladies of, different ethnicities. Do you know what I mean? Just to show that we care so much. But then also as well, you have disabilities. So what it is they'll launch something and it will have somebody, all ladies will have will have alopecia or whatever it is, different disabilities. Now, what it is that in the industry, that is as a person, because I've done so much research around it as well, as a person that is somebody who is different, we'll say, I don't really know how else to put it, it is what is so painful to see is that it's always you're a token. So you're never took as that beautiful bigger lady or that trans woman. It's always the token. And I think what it is that the one thing that people hate about brands is the fact that if they are in some sort of minority, or they just look a bit different, or they're a bit of a goth, or whatever they're just being them, just beautiful them, and they feel like they're recognized for a moment, and that's it. It goes away, and there's no beauty company in the whole world that actually really, really embraces everybody. There isn't one. It's for a moment. And the moment fades. The moment is a month, if that, and it's to promote a perfume, and it's just like, oh, there you go. We're being a bit different. We're going to catch your eye with some people in wheelchairs promoting some makeup. And it is, life is not like that. These are people's lives, and they're all beautiful. And it's the fact of building a community around people that have got a past. These women and men are just all so beautiful, and what it is to me, beauty is you are beauty. I am beauty. What it is that we've got it around the wrong way. Makeup, I ignite the makeup. The makeup does not ignite me. It's me that makes it look beautiful. It's me that makes my hair look curly. It's me. It's not the other way around. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. You've given me
Oh, yay. Because sometimes when I explain myself, it does come out a bit weird. So I've done so much research around it, and I know that this is something that the world is crying out for, because there's so many people like me and like my friends who, I've got loads of trans friends, and there's, to come out as a person that had, that was born in a different body, there's no way to navigate makeup. Why isn't there a starter kit for men who decide that they may be in the wrong body and they want to experiment with makeup, but they haven't got a clue? So why isn't there a starter kit for transgender people? Why isn't there, beautiful brushes that able and disabled people can use? It's not that difficult. I think that the industry has just become such a vacuumous, place that if you don't fit in, then automatically you're ugly. Automatically you're weird. You're strange. But I believe that ugliness, is so beautiful. It's just, and also as well, it's a thing of people. This is what I'm talking about, the thing of the things that we've all been through. So a lot of body dysmorphia comes from the fact that people have been, you know, abused as children, or they've, you know, they've had a bad bullying experience or something like that. Again, it's like it's getting across to the world, to the audience, to our community, that's what makes you even more beautiful. The fact that you have a story, the fact that, like, one of my favorite sayings, which I love, is the most beautiful flowers grow from the smelliest of shit. Excuse my French. But it's that thing of that if you don't go through bad stuff in your life, it's what builds your character, you know. And yeah, I just think there's like this beautiful gap in the market, and I'm just like, yeah, it's just what I've noticed. And
I couldn't agree more, and I love it. And I'm wondering, you're at the early stages, you've sold
yeah,
it. What do you need? What is it you're missing next? You've got a great story, so passionate, but what do you need next?
If I'm honest, I feel like I need a mentor, just because, like, little things like you just said about the trademark and stuff. Like, I do definitely clock that stuff, but I'm a little bit kind of in the woods about stuff, and I don't want to make any mistakes, you know, because I really feel like this is a golden nugget. What I need, if I'm honest, it's like I kind of need somebody to guide me, if I'm honest, in the sense that I do have all these amazing ideas. I've got bloody reams and reams of ideas and just different avenues to go kind of within the business. But yeah, money wise, basically, I'm not in debt. I haven't got in debt for it. So I'm really proud of that. And again, basically the supplier, I designed the box myself and everything. So, like, creative wise, I think, do you know what I mean? I think it'd be lovely to have somebody's opinion about it and stuff like that. I mean, I have sent it out, like, to people, because I watched a thing that you did about a couple of months ago about sometimes you have to kind of, you know, you have to give out and get feedback. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So I did that, because there was a thing that I saw you do a couple of months ago when I first came across you, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to do that. So what I started to do is give out the product and just ask for people's opinion and what they thought about it and stuff like that. And I've got amazing feedback. I've only had, my first shipment was 100, and I've only got 6 left, but I did give out a fair few. But I've only had one basically complaint, and that was it, which I thought was pretty good. The complaint was that basically, and it literally happened yesterday, a gentleman that I sent out a freebie to, who does makeup, he said that he put it on his eye, and basically he had the tiniest bit of swelling. He's the only person that's had any sort of reaction. But I always say to people, please do a patch test, but that's been it. That's the only kind of downside. I've had a couple of people where they haven't read the instructions, and they've put the eyelash on, and basically they didn't wait for it to dry, so it hasn't worked properly. And then I'll politely say to them, you have to read it again, and then once they get the hang of it, it's fine. But the product itself, I'm wearing them, and they are 3-layered fake mink lashes. So they're actually vegan, cruelty-free. And yeah, the reason why I started is because I love big eyelashes, but I can't wear the glue ones. I can't do it. So it was just something that I loved from a different brand. But they didn't have like thicker ones. So, but no, what I need is a little bit of guidance. A little bit of guidance, and just help. Yeah.
I time is against us tonight. This is just a hello.
Yes. Totally. Yeah.
There's a couple of things I will say to you. First of all, don't ever lose this authenticity that you have, right? Like the way you describe the problems you've had in the business is your strength. You know, like so many people wouldn't mention those things, but when I hear it, I think you are learning. Yeah. You are literally what we call an MVP, minimum viable product, right? You are giving product to clients, you're hearing feedback, you're learning what clients need, say, want, and you're saying them out loud, and that gets them fixed, you know? Like, it's just brilliant. You're not hiding the fact that makeup could cause a problem if you don't follow some protocol, and your transparency and honesty is amazing. My instinct is, my suggestion for you is, I think that you should write down, your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
You should write down your weaknesses,
Mm-hmm.
and then analyze your weaknesses and say, right, what if I got a co-founder or someone in to help me? I'm assuming you're doing this pretty much on your own right now.
Literally on my own. I don't have anybody, even though I was offered by a lady. She did offer me basically some money to get a percentage of the business, which I was like totally like, oh my God, couldn't believe it. But she wanted to like have like proper co-ownership, and it didn't, if I'm really honest with you, it didn't sit well with me, because the last thing I ever want is kind of, it does feel like my baby, and I totally would have been up for it, but it was a lot. It was like a good, it was basically 30% of the business, and like 10 grand, and I was like, whoa, like, wow, I was so shocked. But
it's
then
both a compliment, but also quite dangerous.
Yeah, and I didn't know what to do, and I was like so overwhelmed, and also as well, like I'm sometimes I can be like, I'm a very polite person, and I sometimes, but it's like I get a bit panicked sometimes. So I kind of was like, okay, thank you so much. We finished off the dinner and it was lovely. But then I ended up basically contacting her, and I was just so honest with her. The only thing that so many issues that I have is sometimes I'm just too honest. So I ended up just telling her, but it was a total compliment. But I did feel as if it was like my baby, and if I gave away 30%, because she actually wanted to have word on like exactly what was going on. And if I'm really honest as well, I didn't feel like she understood why I was doing this. If I'm really honest, I didn't feel like she understood. Oh God, you're right. If I'm really honest, she didn't understand kind of coming from that world.
No, I hear you, and you've got good instinct, and good you listen to it, because a lot of people at your stage in a business, £10,000 and someone liking your business.
I was so shocked.
Yes,
she was concentrating on the bitch aspect. So she was very much like, oh wow, like this is like like high vogue, like coming from that type of way. And I was like, but it's opposite.
Yeah, totally opposite. But it's kind of interesting to also see it as a high vogue. But I think the key is, that's what I'm saying. I do see in your future the potential to bring in an investor. But I think what you need, if that person had said that, and then you said that's really nice, but actually what I need is, and you had a job description, this person, it's not about money. This person is what I need. Are you that person? And then the second bit of homework I suggest that you do. You've got what I think is what you're good at and what you're not good at, and be brutally honest with yourself, and what you're not good at, and then what the business actually needs. And I think listening to you, without having time to go into a deep dive, you're creative, right? You're high energy creative, right? But I think you need a structural business person, and so that person won't have your creative spirit, and they let you do things, but they perhaps help bring some structure to your genius creative, right?
100%.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, that's a COO role, for want of a formal title, but I think that you need to write down that job description, because I think that's your next step. We need to find you that person, because the truth is, me or anybody else can temporarily be can be your helper, mentor, whatever you want to term it. But I think you are going to need someone by your side that's living and breathing the business. That's your next step, in my view. Now, that person could also end up being an employee, just for the conversation. Doesn't necessarily have to be a co-founder partner. Let's see how it goes. But if you don't set yourself a target, you won't hit it. So let's write down what that looks like. And the other bit of homework I think you need to do, that person who's looked to invest in you, it's your fault they don't completely understand the business, right? So what you need to do is you need to write down, almost like mad genius, into a notepad, exactly what this business is about, your principles. When someone says high vogue, that they're confused. You're the opposite. So describe what the opposite is. What is the opposite? What is the? So I think don't. We haven't got time for it now, but maybe that could be. I would suggest your homework. Write out the brand values. Write out the brand principles. Next time you sit with someone and they say to you it's high and vogue, you're like, read this, and then they're going to read your genius, and at the end of it, they're going to go, I want to give you 50,000, and I get it now, or they're going to say, you're completely nuts, I'm out. but at least they're going to understand. And so it's your job to make sure they understand. If that person doesn't understand, that's your fault. You haven't explained it right, and that's something you need to get completely right, because whoever you bring as a co-founder, you need to know what they're going to do, how it's going to complement you and not conflict with you, and then make sure they understand what you're doing so that they can get behind it.
Okay, yeah.
That person could be an investor. That person could just be straight up an employee. That person could be many forms. You could break the job description into a few different roles. But I think that's the next step for you, and I'm actually pretty excited for you. I think you're onto something, but you just need a bit of help on the structure, I think.
Yeah, you're spot on. You're absolutely spot on. Thank you so much. You're an absolute angel. Thank you. But yeah, I will do that. I will do that. But you are correct. There is no structure.
Yeah, which is how you love to work. So, but you're going to need it if you want to build it into a business.
Yeah.
Right? So look, circle back once you've done that homework, and we can have a little look through it and give you some feedback, and then hopefully we can post something out there in the world saying you're looking for this person and see what pops out.
That would be awesome. And I'm going to go and buy the trademark.
Yeah, just go do that. It's someone just put it online. It's £170, but it's just one of those things that's an asset, especially when people are investing in the brand, as you just described earlier. You want to make sure that you never have to change that.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Real pleasure. Keep up the good work, and well done.
Awesome. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye.
Right. Bye, Doc.
Okay, guys, we have a few folks waiting in the waiting room, and I'll make sure I don't. Let me get this right. We have 3 founders now. Oh no, maybe not Jeff. Sorry, Jeff. You're on next, Jeff. I know you're on next. We're running a few minutes behind because the last entrepreneur was so amazing. I couldn't stop listening to her and her story. But guys, welcome. How are you all?
Hi.
Hello. We're good.
Hi. You okay? Everyone
Hello.
all right?
Yeah. How are you?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. I've been 12 hours on Clubhouse today. Helping over 120 people with their questions. So yeah, but it's been a marvelous day. How are you guys doing? And do you mind, first of all, just telling my audience a little bit about what you're doing and how we might be able to help you, just to set some context?
Sure. My name is Gaya, and this is Bert. She wanted to join us, I guess. And the other 2 here is Mahani and Santa. I'll let them talk as well, but I'll just briefly tell you what we are doing. So we have a company called Floof, and we design products. So we just came out with a new bouncy castle. We do inflatables and other products as well. And our website is called welovefloof.com. And we're just basically, Mahani and I have a company called Studio Souffle, where we design and make bespoke inflatables. So our main background is in doing one-off pieces. And we're just now starting to get into doing manufacturing of larger orders. So like, 40 units of one item or something like that, and trying to sell them. So we're just here to ask a few questions of, how we can best get that. Not really our expertise. And I'm based in London, and maybe I'll let the others explain more about their background and stuff.
Hi, so my name is Mahani. I'm in London as well. I co-founded Studio Souffle with Gaya, and now we've come up with this new brand called Floof with Santo. So basically, like Gaya said, we make inflatables, and we're used to working B2B. And this working with consumers is a new thing now. It's a whole different ball game with certifications. Even advertising is completely different from what we're used to. So we want to just kind of pick your brains on something, that side of things.
Cool. Santo, how are you?
Good. How are you? My name's Santo, and I have an architecture background. I went to school with Gaya in New York City, and we've been trying to do a project together, a collaboration together for years, and we're finally now have some time to do it with everything that's going on. So I come from Studio Butter, which I did product design and architectural work for myself, and now we're focusing on creating products with a whole new brand together, see what we could come up with. And it's been a little bit of a struggle, kind of getting it off the ground. You know, how do we get it off the ground? We're all three creatives also, so we all have that kind of mindset. Instead of we have a hard time selling things, not seeming too business salesman-y or whatever.
Salesman.
But it's been a fun journey, and we've been learning a lot through the process for sure. And we've been creating a lot of great things. It's just when we hit a brick wall, is like, how do we get great feedback from people. People love the stuff that we're doing, but it's like, how do we get more people? You know, it's like we can't just sell to our friends and family. And that's kind of been our struggle that we've been dealing with, is how do we go from a home brand to more recognizable and like create a community around the products that we're making is what our real interest is.
Very interesting. So are there any particular questions you want to ask that I can try to answer myself or ask the community to support you with? Is there any particular thing, or is it just a general chat about the business?
I think I know that there are particular things because we're just at a roadblock right now, and we don't really know how to get to the next step. And I think that's for us. We just need someone to sort of give us some ideas on how we can take it a bit further with what we're doing. And we're willing to put some investment into it. I mean, we've had to put quite a lot of investment already with getting the correct testing done. So we need certain certificates for the bouncy castles and that kind of thing. Getting samples made and. But because that's our background already, we know that manufacturing process, and we've dealt a lot with factories, and so that side we have covered.
Yeah, we know how to make stuff. We just don't know how to sell stuff.
Mm.
So is that the roadblock right now? The kind of B2C marketing, is that the roadblock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have like our Shopify account set up. We have everything ready to go. Like we're ready to roll everything out, but we just need people to buy our product.
Right. So have you looked at things like the affiliate model?
Not really.
Okay, so just Google affiliate model.
I mean, we're kind of doing an affiliate model with a discount code. So we offer discount codes to friends and families that want to participate, and with their discount code, they get an extra £50 off and a Visa gift card for every sale that they make. That's kind of the closest to an affiliate program that we've been doing.
So yeah, I mean, the extension to it is, just conceptually, because frankly, marketing B2C is very complicated. I've done it a lot in my career, but this is just kind of one snapshot of one angle on it. But if you identify, let's say, 20 influencers that you think are aligned with your brand values, they potentially communicate, what you're about already, then you bring them in almost as partners. And they become your sales ambassadors in a way, and then you give them, the ability to promote your business, and if they promote it and you get business, then they get a commission. But the art of it is making sure that their community feels valued. So in other words, it's not just I'm selling you something and if you buy it from me, I make 15%, but it's that the community get some extra value. So it could be that, I might get commission of 15%, but you'll also get 15% off because you're coming through me because I'm an affiliate partner with this network. So your numbers are going to be important on this type of idea. But if you guys are all creative, and my wife is a creative, so I know exactly, we work very well together because she's always creating amazing things I couldn't do in a million years. But she doesn't know the value of them and she doesn't like to sell them. She can now, working with me, but she doesn't really like it. She doesn't enjoy pitching the product.
Yeah, we don't enjoy selling.
Yeah, I know that feels.
Yeah, so we our skills, right? I personally can't create anything, but I'm good at coming up with marketing ideas and helping sell product. But I think the thing I'm trying to highlight here is that, there's the what I call the old way and the new way. I think the new way is what I'm describing. You kind of have 20, I'm just picking a number, but 20 ambassadors that then who love your product. They don't sell it to make money. They sell it because they believe in it. And you almost make them your sales team. And it's an affiliate sales model, okay? And it's very common. And there's many ways to launch it. You can just do a competition even, like, here's our product. Who wants to be our affiliate partner on it? And people will actually apply. to do it. And so micro influencers is the best bracket, I think, for you. These are people that maybe, you know, like on TikTok, I have 220,000 followers. I'd actually consider them micro influencer. So you basically want to go for people that don't have necessarily millions, because actually, ironically, there might be too big a spread. But you know that you've got a smaller group. If you look at their, for example, Instagram feed, you're going to be able to identify their style, their look and feel. Does it match your product range? Does it match your ethos? Are they pushing things that are similar to what you believe in, moral code wise? If you get that right, it can be very powerful. That's the modern way, right? I'm going to call it the old way. On I think product sales side is community build. Now you can do both, but I think the community build takes a bit more time, and so that would be you know, let's call it. And again, we need to dive a little bit more into your brand values. But let's say, you know, like the lady who was on before, you know, if you consider yourself an outsider, you're not normal, you're an oddball, then you can kind of come together inside a community, and then that community ends up being your base. Now, ideally, you have them in a group. Let's say Facebook group. I don't like Facebook anymore, but I'm broadcasting on Facebook tonight, but I don't like it. It could be a LinkedIn group. It could be a Discord group, which is, you know, it could be many, depending on your brand and your value. But you have that community. I call this the 1,000 tribe member group, right? So in other words, you've got 1,000 people there that then will go out and spread the word for you on their social. Go out there and spread the word about the value of what you're doing, and they really believe in what you're doing. And they don't necessarily have to be influencers. That is more like your tribe. Now you can do both, and over time you probably need to do both, but maybe you could pick one, and that is a good way of scaling without you having to manually sell. Of course, the other way is paid advertising. I know it. I don't like it personally. I think it's a big battle for eyeballs and very expensive. And my instinct with your business is, I'm not sure you want to go down that path.
Yeah,
but
we tried some Facebook marketing ads and stuff like that, and it doesn't get much return on what we invest into it, and it just seems like it goes into the void of nothingness, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that we've also been speaking about is trying to get our product into like a big box store of some kind, you know, like to have it selling maybe even on just their website. And I think for us, like finding out how to get to that point, or how to be introduced to like the right person to speak to, that kind of thing is
again, that's actually back to your B2B model. You guys are diverting back to what you know.
Yeah.
That is a very different strategy to the B2C model. And the B2B model, as you guys know, is very price sensitive.
Yeah.
And then getting with these folks, first of all, it's actually a lot easier than it used to be. Sorry, Mahan, I'm just going to turn your mic off for a second. It's kind of creating some static. But I think that the B2B model is definitely an interesting one, but you kind of need a salesperson for that. You need someone. You guys know B2B a bit more from what you were saying, but I think you know, B2B, you kind of need probably someone that's focused on approaching all the potential buyers, pitching and closing deals. Now that could be one of you guys, maybe, but it sounds like that's not what you love. So maybe you need to bring in a fourth co-founder, or bring in someone that you just pay that has that network. That is one way to do it. Another way to do it, there are a lot of accelerator programs around, and part of their value proposition is that it will introduce you to retailers. So depending on what your ideal retailer is, there's some programs out there that you can enter, and then if they like your product, then they can help you get introductions to retailers. And then, you know, the third way, frankly, is, you know, of course, Amazon FBA or Amazon system, you know, selling a lot of it, people will notice you. And then a lot of people will, there's a lot of people, platforms out there, I don't like them, but they're good for you, but I don't think the people doing them, it's a good idea. But they will take your product and they will market it and sell it and take a piece of it. Right? So that's kind of the Amazon FBA model, right?
okay.
So yeah, I mean, frankly, there's a million ways to do it. Any of these ways appeal to you?
What was the second thing you mentioned? It was about there was something you said about like a program.
You're talking about the B2C or B2B? Sorry,
the B2B. You mentioned about like sorry.
Accelerator?
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, these are programs where you submit your business to a system, and for 3 months they help you. And there's two ways that they get compensated. Either the corporate is sponsoring them. So let's say the supermarket chains that want unique products, they're actually looking for unique products, right? So they get sponsored by the supermarkets to find them, filter them out, and then present them, right? And then the other way is that they invest in you, they take an equity stake, kind of like the Dragon's Den model, right? So it's like, I will take 20% of your company, I'll give you £20,000, and then I will introduce you to all the people I know at X, Y, and Z, right? Okay. So those kinds of networks where the investor will I think quite often oversell. I'm an investor, so I can say this. Overvalue what they're bringing to the table. But there are people out there that can help. On my podcast show, I just interviewed Nick Jenkins. He was one of the Dragons on Dragons Den. He has a lot of contacts in the retail space because he used to sell cards, right, and work with those retailers. So there are people out there that have the credibility to bring some value. And of course, if you've got a distribution partner, that can make a big difference. So it could be a win-win. But again, that's a combination of potentially angel investors going into these accelerator programs. But again, I feel that's work. You've got to decide who's going to do that work, and is that the skill set you've got internally?
Yeah, I think we can manage to do that. I don't mind doing that. And also my partner is into sales. So I think bringing him on board would also help that. But so with the accelerator program, how do we find a way into that? Is there like a platform?
They list their criteria, and so just Google them. They're on their website. They will say what they're doing and how they're doing it. On my last podcast show, I interviewed the lady who founded Pip and Nut. And so she went through one of these programs, and then they introduced her to all the supermarkets. So maybe have a listen to that, to how she did it. But the other way, of course, they go into one store like Selfridges, and then Selfridges will showcase it as they've got this. I mean, this is pre-COVID, right? So things have changed a bit. But Selfridges has this product, and they promote it, and then all the other shops spot it, and then want later to be a part of that. But Selfridges kind of launches it and becomes exclusive for a few months.
We actually do a lot of work with Selfridges already. So we do their window displays.
So ask them, by the way. They'll know all the retailers.
Yeah, so I think maybe we can even ask the people that we work with there who to speak to. So right. I assume, is it the buyers that we're trying to get to then?
Yeah, exactly. And I would also say, do you think you guys will be interested in being, our exclusive partner for a few months? Because they can then market you, right, on the website, hopefully in store when COVID gets behind us. And then, a lot of the retailers walk around Selfridges trying to spot new product. But yes, also just ask them for direct contacts. It's also makes a lot of sense.
Cool. Yeah, that's really good.
Oh, great. I'm glad it was useful.
Yeah, thanks for talking to us. And
is there anything else before I let you go? I can see Jeff waiting in the waiting room, my next guest. But is there anything else before we jump?
Happy birthday, Santo.
Oh, happy birthday. Wow, okay.
It's his birthday. No, that was really good. Thank you, Simon. And we'll just keep following you on TikTok. And
are you guys on TikTok? Are you guys doing much on TikTok?
Not yet. I'm still trying to get into it. I do have my profile on there now, so it's called We Love Floof, and we've put a few things up there, but we still have some exploring to do with how it works. And
do you guys enjoy social media, or is it's kind of a pain?
It's a mix. Like, I do enjoy it, but then after a while of the repetitiveness of it, I kind of find like I have other things to do. I have a lot of things we make here in our studio, like the big bespoke one-of-a-kind pieces we do here. So I don't have time all the time to be on there updating or just keeping up with it.
Try to flip it a bit, and you guys are creative. Have some fun.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the things we were talking about.
Half an hour out a day to create some fun TikTok together. I think sometimes social media is a little bit overthought about. Even if you put a camera on the side, time lapse, and then create something, one of your products, and chuck it up. Don't overthink it. and have a bit of fun with it. Look at it as a creative thing. Don't look at it as a marketing thing.
Yeah, because I think
what I've been doing.
a lot of the accounts that are quite successful is I think people want to see the people behind the brand. We have to do more of that, but I don't know. I feel a bit reluctant. I'm not that comfortable doing that, but we have to try and do that more of that, I think.
I'm live on TikTok now, by the way, and people are saying on TikTok, get an intern to help you, or there's a lot of people like to help get involved. There's a lot of really talented folks right now that would love to join a kind of creative business like yours and help. So it's maybe just throw it out on LinkedIn. Anyone want to help us do this fun stuff on TikTok? I love TikTok, but it's not the only platform. There are other ways, but I think for you, my feeling is you could get good traction, and that would help, by the way, with the retail conversations.
Definitely, yeah.
They always want someone that can market themselves to the younger demographic. So, and if you post up something, now we're friends, I'm happy to duet, share it, do anything I can to support you.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's great. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Santo's muted, I think.
Yeah. Oh, did I mute you? I should never mute you, boy. Should I never? What's going on?
Like, do you think that we should continue focusing on one product that we're pushing, or should we keep developing more products?
The simple answer is I think you can keep developing products, but I do worry if you've got two business models. In other words, a B2B business and a B2C business. Yeah. Because I think your resources and mind will get split. I think if you're a B2B business, then focus on the salesperson and that infrastructure to support the creative side, and work on the pricing to match the B2B needs. Or go to B2C, but then get a marketing team to match that. You know what I mean? Like you kind of, I think for the early stages, you need to pick a business strategy. More products doesn't matter as long as your business strategy is the same. What you don't want to have to do is reinvent the wheel every time you create a product. Really, the distribution model should be the same. And once you crack that distribution nut, then frankly, probably creating new products is going to be quite important. But I would also say, I'm a big fan of Herman Miller, and I bought the Herman Miller chair. Then I bought another Herman Miller and another Herman Miller. So really, you want to get people hooked on one product, ideally, and then that will lead them to want more things from your range. Close their eye, look at your stuff. But yeah, that's my
taste.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with having many products. I just think that make sure you get one kind of selling, ideally, or the system of selling it done before you move into the next product. And don't have separate businesses servicing different things. If you've got a business, for example, that has clients dressing windows, that's awesome. But there will also a point where it's distracting you from the product business. Because when you're with Selfridges, you're not talking about the product business, you're talking about window dressing. So at some point, you probably need to switch it off and say, look, we're no longer going to be a service company. We're going to be a product company. Products companies are scalable, but if you don't focus on them, they're much harder than service companies. So if you can't do both at the same time, long term.
Right.
Okay.
That will be interesting. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
All right, Santo, another happy birthday. Enjoy. Hi, Jeff. Thanks for patiently waiting. Last but not least, welcome.
Simon.
How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thanks. Thanks for taking the time to have a listen and see if you can help. I don't know if you I sent a little email through before.
It says, I'm a 51-year-old care assistant and photography with website I've built. So tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, well, a few years ago, I went to work for a friend. He was a stonemason and he was struggling a bit with his business. He had this CNC machine and he needed a website. We got chatting. I said, I'll jump in and help you out. So I did, and we got it all working. And then he was looking for something else. So I did a bit of research, found there was a bit of a gap in the market and what we could tap into. So anyway, I did a bit of research, bought a domain name, built a website, and it just kind of took off with organic search, which was fantastic. That enabled me to get enough income because I was just taking the calls, passing it on to the guys. I'd buy the stone in, give it to the guys, they'd make it, we'd ship it out, job done. So my money came in easy from it. But the guy that was running the business, he decided to do something else. So I was left with this website, bring it in all these inquiries for products that I didn't have the facilities to manufacture, because the money from that enabled me to go and do what I'm doing now, working as a care assistant, photographer. That was great. Anyway, he went away, went off to do something else. So I got in touch with a guy that we used to make orders for. And I said, look, can you look after the inquiries on this website? So he did for a couple of years, and that's been fine. But there's been a massive jump in the inquiries for it. So I set up Google Analytics about 12 months ago. So in the past 12 months, this website has appeared in, according to analytics, it's been in the search terms 200,000 times. We've had 13,000 visitors to the website, and we've generated, it's just over 200 orders from that. But I know the guy that's looking after it. So the website I bought, he's seen how well it was doing. So he went and he bought the .com version of it. Bit cheeky, I know, but that's business. So I know, because I monitor the emails coming in, I know that they don't all get replied to, because he's obviously getting, somebody's chopping to buy something, they'll email 2 or 3 companies. So I know he's not dealing with all of them. So I'm just after a way, because I'm not quite happy the way it's run. I make a bit of commission on the sales, which is fine, but I know there's so much more potential in it. So I'm just trying to get an idea or a way that I can, really get this site to its best. I'm not a web expert, I'm not a salesman, but I know somebody that knows what they're doing, somebody that I have the time to put into it. Even the telephone number, there's no telephone number on it, simply because of that reason, because calls come in and, I don't know. There's no track of those sales going in. So I get what I get, but I know there's more to it. So I'm at the position now, I want to get off and do some traveling, some voluntary work and stuff. And I want to get somebody in with me that can build this site up, that can process the orders, and I'll continue to make a commission from it.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. What is it actually? What does the site actually do? What's the product exactly? Sorry, I think I didn't quite understand.
It makes slate hearths for fireplaces. So every order that comes in is totally bespoke.
Okay. And so again, if I'm just make sure I'm getting it, today the site's still running, and someone's processing the orders, and you get a commission every time it comes through. So right now you own the site.
Yeah.
Someone else is fulfilling the orders.
Yeah.
And you get a slice of the commission. Okay. And that person, I think I just understood it as well. They bought, you own the, say, the .com.uk, and they bought the .com.
Yeah.
And you're saying that the .com, they own it, so they're controlling that traffic. You don't see any of that.
No, that's nothing to do with me.
Right. I don't think that's good business practice. Whoever did that, by the way,
No.
I think that's pretty bad.
The guy who we had a little workshop, and he used to send us orders, so we would manufacture orders for him, and he used different manufacturers up and down the countries for different products that he did. So we know he's generating orders already. So I built this site for us that we was working with to bring in our own orders, which it did. So when the business when the guy who was a stonemason went off to do something else, I contacted this guy. I said, look, I know you work with other manufacturers. Can you, process these orders, and we'll come to an arrangement, and I'll get a bit of commission off the leads and the sales that come in. So that's kind of where it's gone. Okay.
Well, that aside, I really hate working with unethical people. I can say it, maybe you can't, because you're still in business with this person, but I don't like that. I don't like someone doing that. That domain name is part of your business. They should have bought it as part of the partnership with you. That's a big red flag for me. But that aside, I don't want to judge because I don't know the nuance of it. But going back to the basics, I think that to me, you've got 2 gaps, really. You've got a consistent supplier partner that you can trust, need. Whether that see, the way I would do it would be I'd go to that supplier and say, look, I'm at a crossroads. I'm going to shut down this portal. And call it a day, unless you also let me have the .com, and we're partners as we should be, instead of you taking that one and trying to do something separate, and check their moral code and ethics. And if they're not going to play ball, then I think you have to find a different supplier. I just don't think you can build a business on the back of people that aren't morally correct. And you sound like a very honest, straightforward guy to me. So I don't think you want to be building something that that doesn't have ethics on the production side.
Oh, sure.
That's one side. I think then the next step would be probably to write up a job description of the person you described, the person you need. They're out there. Right now is a good time. I think right now there's lots of people out there that know how to build websites and would be very happy to kind of take on the business front end for you and potentially grow it and allow you to continue to do what you want to do and hopefully earn more money, but have someone on board to take care of the business. I think that's very possible.
Right.
And I think the key to it is you've got to write down what that person needs to do, and just make sure you're very clear about your role. So to me, you would be a chairman, and you're overseeing the business, but you're not running the business. And then you need to be very, very clear what the new person will do. Job description, very, very detailed. Okay, and then once you've got that, pick a title for the job. And then post it out on LinkedIn and other platforms saying, I'm looking for someone to do this, and then see who applies. Interview people with the mindset that, perhaps initially you'll just hire them for a month, take a bit of a risk, see what they're like. If they're good, then great. Or if someone really blows your mind when you meet them, then maybe you give them a bit of equity in this and you bring them in as a partner and you let them run with it and see what they do with it. And hopefully it becomes a big business that you don't have to run.
All right. Okay. I had thought, I was thinking, do we get somebody like a virtual assistant? Because the guy I work with at the moment, he's got a few contacts, a few manufacturers. I know that there's a lot of stonemasons up and down the country that would willingly take the orders, but I like the fact now we work with different places. There's a place in like Cumbria, there's one in Cornwall, another one in Wales. So he's got the contacts. So he knows if somebody orders one in such a place, we'll use this guy, or he can't make these, we know somebody that can. So this guy, the minute he's got the contact, so I'd need somebody that could, because I'm not a salesman, I need somebody that could contact these manufacturers and say, look, this is what we've got. We've got these leads. We can do these orders, and work with multiple companies rather than just be focused, partly because of my previous experience. I know the guy just decided to pack up and go and do something else. So I think working with multiple manufacturers, because effectively it's just somebody to answer the phone, follow up emails, price the jobs, and pass it on. So
So I hear you. A virtual assistant is one option. I think it's a bit detached, and I think right now is a good time to hire people, in the sense that I think you can get someone really good. Virtual assistant is never going to be that attached, virtual. And I think that you need someone that's kind of potentially can live and breathe this business and can make it really stable and work. And it sounds like you've got a huge opportunity. There's lots of people out there who would be dreaming of having access to a site with this sort of SEO.
Right. And it's all organic. There's no paid traffic on it. So I know.
Just imagine.
I had this with a guy. I said, look, could we get some new customer photos that we could upload onto the site? Because I know there's potential in this, but he's never been forthcoming with it. I've thought about putting a telephone number on there because I know not everybody likes the emails. But I've set up these downloadable forms so people can put all the sizes and measurements, and he just gets all them. But I know some people just want to phone up and have a chat. But there's not that trust there to put that number, because I know 10 of the calls, I'll only know that 5 of them have gone through to sales and 5 of them he'll have put through on his own side. And that's just, I know.
You've got to have that conversation first before any of these other stuff. You've got to have that moral code conversation. Honestly, life's short, man. You don't want to waste time with people like this. He either makes that site the same thing, you're in it together, or I think you just stop. I don't know. It's easy for me to say. I don't want you to cut off income, but you sound like a talented person who could be doing many things. You don't want people like that in your life. He either gives you that URL and it's one company, or I think you have to call it a day.
I am at the position to call it a day. I did actually mention it. I've been thinking about this since New Year. I thought I have looked at getting it valued to see if I could just sell the whole thing. So I approached him. I said, look, I can kind of reverse engineer the figures of what you're doing. But I said, but the company I was looking at valuing a company called FE International, I think. Good conversation with them, but he said we need the profit and loss for the last 12 months before we can look at it, and you've got a leaky boat here, yeah. You've got a leaky boat. You've got to go sort that out. I mean, selling it, packaging up, I get it all, but honestly,
you just don't want people like that in your life. Maybe he just needs to be realigned. Maybe he's not a bad person. Maybe, but you need to have this conversation with him. He can't have a separate URL that is literally your URL. You know what? My first person on the broadcast today, you are highlighting why what I said earlier is so important. Where the value actually is in the trademark of the name, right? If you own the trademark of the name, they wouldn't be able to buy you on trade doing exactly what you're doing right now.
Well, I've just when I was watching it earlier, and I looked up the trademark, and apparently because my website domain name is the name of the product, and it's not something that you can put in a trademark. So if I'd have called it,
what's the name of the URL?
slatehearth.co.uk.
No, Slate Half. You could trademark Slate Half.
Right. Well, I was thinking on the, unless I've looked at the wrong thing, but it was on the government. Said you can't trade like it. Give an example of cotton something. So you can't use the actual product of what it is in the name's description. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there is an argument that you can't trademark a word in the dictionary.
Right.
So if it's a word in the dictionary, is it a word in the dictionary?
Yeah, well, slate is and half is, yeah.
But all as one word, is it a word in the dictionary?
No, I don't believe it is. It's two
then,
separate words. I have it as one.
Two separate words, but together it's a brand name. You know, McDonald's have managed to trademark "I'm loving it." You know,
right?
I'm loving it. Come on, you know, like they trademarked it, right? So what I'm saying is, you know, McDonald's, they trademarked it. You know, like, and you can argue, like a lot of these, like Five Guys burgers, you know, burger trademarked it. You know, but that being said, I mean, all I'm actually saying is, you know, it doesn't cost anything to check this out a little bit more. Plus, if you actually go ahead and try and get the trademark, it's 200 quid. If you got the trademark, then they would be infringing on your trademark. That URL, by law, if they're selling the same thing as your trademark, they'd be infringing on your trademark.
Right, even though they've got the .com and mine's just the .com.
URL means nothing. So there's all sorts of precedents around this, but someone owned Nissan.com, for example, and their surname was Nissan. So they end up having a legal fight with Nissan, the car company, because Nissan, the car company, is like, that's our trademark, you've got to give it to us. It's you know, it's like Boots.com was actually owned by someone. They bought it, and Boots have said, we own the trademark for Boots. And legally, they managed to get the URL off that person.
Oh, right.
So, but anyway, I'm talking about a nuance here because the horse might have already left the stable in your case, because that person already has a website, they're already trading. You don't really want to get into legal battles, ideally. No. I think, you know, probably two steps. One is just check out on that trademark and see if you can just trademark the name of your company, which is quite normal. See if you can. Worst is you lose £200. Best is you get the trademark and you've got one more bit of leverage to deal with this person. And then second is, I would just literally tomorrow, I'd be having a conversation with this person. Look, you know, I'm at a crossroads. I want to invest, perhaps bring someone in, help make it a bit more, you know, give it a bit more of a push. I don't want to let it go. But you have bought the .com, and I'm feeling a bit like, can I trust you? I don't know what you're putting through that business and what you're putting through mine, and I don't feel comfortable. I feel like that's not right. And if they say, tough shit, man, that's business, then I think you say, fuck you, mate. See you later.
I think that's the way it's going to go.
But if he's decent and smart, he'll say, you know what? You're right. That .com, that should be the same business. Let's make it one business. Then you've got the beginnings of building a new foundation to this business. That person can be trusted again. That person then putting things through separate things. So when you get a phone call, they're not, you know, half through their own company and half through yours. None of that shit happens anymore. Right. And then I think you can start focusing on what should be the next step of none of that was a problem, which is bringing in someone to help you.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's quite. I mean, I like with the idea again because I know he does so many things, and he manufactures a lot of slate things, and all I generate traffic for is the hearths. That's it. People just come to the site for hearths. So his business, he does a lot of different things from roof tiles to all kinds of things. but I like the idea of getting somebody in new. I'm just thinking, I'm guessing it would be feasible to put a basic job description. I need you to deal with these leads, contact suppliers and manufacturers, answer the phone calls, answer the emails, calculate the costs. So obviously we'll know what it costs to make this. They put the markup on and message the customer back. But again, the kind of position I'm thinking of is, would it be feasible to offer them a commission rather than a fixed wage or a fixed salary? Would that encourage?
The short answer is, like anything, if you just do commission, you'll have less opportunities. If you pay someone a basic plus commission, you'll have more people. If you give them equity in the business, as well as commission, you'll have a different selection of people. I would reverse engineer the business. My instinct on this would be, I would put out a job. I would have a basic plus commission. I'd be reasonable about it. And in my mind, if I was you, I'd be like rolling the dice. I'd say to myself, right, let me put 3 months worth of money into this new person. Yeah. And if they perform, you know the numbers. If they perform, then they will make their basic salary. They will make commission on top of that. And then I will make X and I won't have to worry about it anymore. And if after 3 months they haven't performed again, it's kind of like, go big or go home kind of model, right?
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
And your downside is 3 months salary, 3 months effort, and it didn't work. But at least you tried. In life, we only regret what we don't try, right? So you try, it works, wicked. You've got someone who's happy to have a business that's well SEO'd and they can go and make a living from it. You provided someone with a job maybe they didn't have and a business opportunity they didn't have, and you've got someone running a business that you don't want to see die because you built it to something, and then hopefully they're making it work and you're there to support, but you're not having to run it, and you make an ongoing income from it. Everyone's a winner.
Right. Yeah, that's a fresh idea. Thanks for that. I'll get onto that tomorrow. Definitely.
Let me know how you get on, and when you share it on LinkedIn at that moment, if you tag us, we'll share it too. There's a lot of people out there who would love an opportunity to be a part of a business right now, and if we can help you, let us know.
I'm just taking notes. Cheers. All right, thanks very much for that, Simon.
Really no problem, mate. Wish you the best of luck, and if I had a fireplace, I'd be buying the product.
Hey, cheers. We do the best. Thanks, Simon.
Absolute pleasure. Take care, all right?
You too. Bye-bye now.
So there we go, folks. 6 entrepreneurs tonight that we have tried to help. That's our mission here. I basically want to help people start and grow a business. I want anyone that starts a business not to feel alone doing it. I'm not a doctor, so I can't be on the front line tonight helping people that are sick, but I can help people who are suffering business-wise. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm coming live every day to give advice, to give access to my network through this broadcast, to get support for people that need it right now in any way we can. So I want to thank you guys for listening. I hope that you found the entrepreneurs' insights and stories as inspiring as I did this evening. If you want to contribute, then feel free to go to the links below and give a like on the social media pages of the entrepreneurs that came on tonight. That would mean a lot to them, I know, and it doesn't cost you anything. Equally, if you thought this broadcast was useful to you or the people we were trying to help, if you hit the like button on the broadcast, that lets the algorithm know that this content is useful and it makes more people aware of it, which one, people that listen to this might actually learn something without actually having to ask any questions. And 2, there might be other people out there that need help that can then come on to this broadcast that we do every night and get some help if they need it. So I want to thank you guys. Alexandru, welcome. Mark, Tassia, Rebecca, you guys on TikTok. Thank you so much. YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, folks. I see you all. I really appreciate you coming on. I can't name you all because I'll be here all night, but I appreciate you guys all coming on, contributing and caring. And I personally really appreciate it. I'm sure my guests that have come on this evening will too. And I'll see you again tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. I'm actually also live tomorrow at 3 p.m. London time, where we have an expert coming on that will be talking about marketing. And then afterwards, we have another entrepreneur, so 3 p.m. tomorrow. And then if you missed that broadcast, don't worry, we'll be back on at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow, again, helping entrepreneurs. So hope to see you then, guys. Okay, thanks very much. Have a good evening or day, wherever you are in the world. Enjoy it. See you.